Like you said, I'm Bob Spears, COO of State Pineapple Hotels. And a little bit about State Pineapple. We're a small boutique hotel brand based in Seattle. We have 10 hotels across the country, 4 in Seattle, 1 in Portland, San Francisco, San Diego, Chicago, Boston, and New York. Most of our hotels, relatively small, like I said, 100 to 150 rooms. And our goal this year was to improve personalization of the guest experience. We call it hyper-personalization, and using technology to do that. So our goal was to elevate the guest experience by leveraging relevant zero-party data. We'll talk a little bit more about zero-party data, empowering frontline teams with timely insights to drive engagement through our Surprise and Delight program. Like most hotels, I spent 25 years with Marriott, so I know all about different, engagement and trying to wow the guest experience. Surprise and Delight to us is just that. It's going above and beyond for the guests and finding ways that we can personalize that stay so we get to know you better as an individual rather than a number or a loyalty number. For us, it began at the beginning with the innkeeper mentality. Our owner and founder, Michelle, always instilled in us from when she visited European hotels to have the innkeeper mentality. We need to invite you into our home. We need to offer you a drink. We need to make you feel as if you're home. Now it's a long way forward to get to AI and how AI can now personalize that and without doing it and I'll talk a little about it later, without being creepy about it, because it can get awfully creepy now, what we know about you and when we know it and how we use that. So I'm gonna try a little bit to explain some of that. So the start of the year when we started this project, this is the whiteboard in our office. I won't get into all the things, but like a lot of companies, we scribble ideas. As the operator in the room, it felt at the beginning like, just give operations all these tools and they'll all make all the magic happen. Well, there's a lot more to it operationally than that. But the 2 squares that are in red are collect zero-party data. That became a big part. How do we get more information from you that you want us to use? Not information that we go buy or we go source other ways. We want to get information from you that we can use to personalize your stay. And then we want you to return. So how do we get you to book direct the next time by personalizing the stay as it goes? In 2024, our big project was to redo our entire tech stack. And the reason we did this was this tech stack, and a couple of these companies are here, allows us to personalize the stay more by being able to house information we never could before. Akia is our texting platform, so we use Akia to text pre-arrival confirmations, communicate with you throughout your stay if you choose. Opti is our housekeeping platform. Opti allows us to meet several of the requirements that housekeeping has made it more challenging for the housekeeping operators in this day and age. For example, in Seattle, housekeepers are only allowed to clean a certain amount of square footage, and if they clean over that, then they have to reduce that. We have to keep those records in order to prove to the city of Seattle we haven't exceeded that. So Opti allows us to do that. Our regional director of operations, Beth Ann King, is here. She's also the GM of our Chicago hotel, and we have a union housekeeping team here. The union has lots of regulations that we need to assign rooms for, and rather than having our housekeeping manager decide how to assign rooms, she basically just presses a button. Once we've loaded all if you travel too many floors, you have to reduce a room. If you do this, then you have to reduce a room. So it's really made things easier. The thing we love about Opti is it also allows us to communicate real time with our room attendants while they're in the rooms and allows them to provide us insights based upon the guests, again, that we feel is relevant and not creepy. Think is our sales and marketing platform. We changed that last year as well. It integrates really closely with Salesforce. So we thought it was important to have something that had two-way communication. And then Toast, though it's not as much of the personalization, it's not as much of the personalization project. It is very frictionless for our team members. It's very easy to use, very easy to train. So we wanted another system that kind of worked in our tech ecosystem. At the center of it all is Salesforce and Muse. Muse is here at the conference. Muse has been a wonderful partner to us. And Muse is a different PMS in that it's based upon profiles rather than reservations. And so it allows you to personalize things more and store things with the guest profile. So as we learn more about you, more often you stay, we are able to house it. I'm sure there's other systems that allow you to do the same thing. It's worked great for us because we're able to create this profile that becomes more robust the more times you stay with us. Salesforce is, of course, one of the largest CRMs in the world. As an operator, I wasn't always the biggest Salesforce fan, I'll say, because in the beginning, I always called it the black hole. But all this information went in, but when the operators are trying to check you in and trying to service, none of that information was at their fingertips until we got these other systems around it. And now Salesforce is doing what it's supposed to do and allowing us to have that information that we've gathered over the years at our fingertips when you arrive at the hotel. This is the built-out roadmap. I'm not going to get into all these squares. It just shows you that we took a lot of time. I'm going to focus on the right-hand column, the guest experience, and then the return to the hotel. So the right-hand side, this is how we got all the information about you and stored it. But I'm mainly going to focus today on the personalization side and how we can personalize your stay. Zero-party data. So what is zero-party data? Many of you know, but zero-party data is information the customer has given directly to us. So there's a lot of ways to buy data on people now. We didn't go that route. Our goal was to only use information the customer has provided directly to us. So what are the sources of zero-party data? Surprisingly, some people still use the phone to make reservations, and that's the first step. We have 7 or 8% of our guests still book, direct reservations still book over the phone. And when the reservation agent is on the phone, they're able to gather information and put it directly into the guest profile. They might say they're coming for a birthday or a concert or a sporting event. All that information is relevant to us so that we can tailor your stay when you arrive on property. Pre-arrival concierge, if you make calls prior to your stay, you want to know about local restaurants, you want to know any number of things. From a pre-arrival concierge standpoint, we're also entering that same information into your profile. So again, we're trying to grow the information we know that you've already provided to us directly so we can tailor your stay to you. The single biggest source of zero-party data is while a guest is on site. So you're having a conversation when you check in at the front desk. At the restaurant, you like red wine instead of white. It might be a Malbec, it might be a cab. Things that we learn from you, we're able to gather that information. If it gets in the right place, which is the biggest part of this project, making sure all the information is housed within our CRM and within the PMS so we can extract it later and provide it to the service providers. Surveys. So for years when I was a general manager, I always wanted to have the guest surveys at the front desk so someone checked in. So for instance, if your Wi-Fi didn't work your last day, when we checked in, we could say, Mr. Smith, I understand your Wi-Fi didn't work last time to your satisfaction. We've double checked it this time it's gonna work. You've told us and we've acknowledged that, and we're gonna make sure we don't make the same mistake twice. I know you've all filled out surveys and you never, and it just seems like it goes someplace and you don't really know. And we use survey information, obviously in the hotels. We'll say 98% of people like this, or this many people were satisfied, but it's not the information you told us directly about you, because unless we know that, then we can't personalize the stay to what you might want. Guest reviews online. Sometimes you have to get through the aliases and the OTA web to find who is who, but AI is helping with that. And the more insights you have on the customer, the next time they send a review, we're more likely to know who that person is. We, like a lot of our teams respond to every review and they try to engage, especially if there's something that the guest wants to talk to us about and follow up. And a lot of times through that, we know next time that Surfer Cat is so-and-so, and that information we can now use to kind of cut down that barrier as well. And then we ask one question before you arrive. And this one question gives us probably, other than on-site information, gives us as much information that's actionable as anything else. And that question is, what brings you to Chicago? What brings you to New York? What brings you to Seattle? As an operator, this one question was a big topic of discussion for us, because I don't want to set expectations we can't deliver to. So if you ask a question like, what can we do for you? Everybody who stays, and we have a hotel called the Maxwell in Seattle. It's right across from the Space Needle, set off fireworks every New Year's Eve. Everyone's gonna say, I want a room that looks across from the Space Needle, right? We can't do that for everybody. So we want to ask a question that's a little vague, that give us some insights on what you're saying without setting expectations, because once you set the expectation, then you still need to exceed that expectation. So that's another source of data that we gather. It's a coordinated effort to get all this data. I mentioned the reservation agents transfer to pre-arrival concierge. We try to be efficient, so there's not a lot of downtime, but there is downtime. So we've assigned every reservation agent to partner with the hotel. So they're scouring the reservations before people arrive. So if they know you're going to run a marathon, if there's little articles locally that you might not have seen, they'll send you the articles. Or if there's a new restaurant opening and you're a foodie, they'll send you that article or other information before you get there. So we're trying to, again, give you information you've told us, and because we know something about you, we're going to try to act upon that. The room attendants now can engage through the Opti platform as well. So if they go to your room and they say that you see that you've used an extra box of tissues because you have a cold, they're going to put an extra box of tissues for the day. But if there's a different room attendant the next day, a lot of times no one would ever know that that person might need a little extra help. Now we can gather that information in the short term through your profile, so the next day we can add a box of tissues. If we see that you like tea more than coffee in your room, we can put extra coffee in the room because it's all part of your profile. So we know a little bit about you. We want to try to make sure that we show you that we listened to what you're telling us. Aki, as I mentioned, just takes all the information from those conversations. That's all stored, so that can be extracted and scraped. And again, AI is kind of the key to this. Is it's going in and it's looking at the relevant information and learning on what's important and what we're actioning. And then it's putting it in the next profile and putting it in this report that's most important to us, which we'll see in a minute. I think more than anything, timeliness matters. So if you're checking in and you're a big Benson Boone fan, the Benson Boone concert's in town, and person's checking in, all of a sudden they look down, they see, oh, they're here for the concert. Well, it's probably too late to have the poster of you with Benson Boone in your room waiting for you, because it happened too late. So we get that information to the teams a week in advance. Every arrival, every profile gets sent out a week in advance and rotates through, so that we have information on every guest sent to them. Within that report, you can click and it goes directly into the system where that information is, so that you can follow through. Again, frictionless. Information's great, but unless you can use it, it doesn't do nearly as much good. All this being said, before we get to the kind of the magic and some of the stories, culture's first. We've heard that a lot today. Our goal is to, again, frictionless, remove barriers. Our president, my boss, Dina, always says, just get out of the way. We've got to set things up and just get out of the team members' ways. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. But if we ask the team members to surprise and delight our guests, we should surprise and delight them as well. So we started another initiative this year where we wanted to learn more about our team members individually. So we created this survey where we were going to ask you your favorite restaurant and what's your pet's name, and talk about your kids and all these things to really understand our team members. And so I raised my hand. I was like, there can't be a less personal way to learn personal information than to send out a survey, right? So we changed that, and we encouraged every leader in our company to have one-on-ones with all this information and where they documented within Muse, we created team member profiles, just like the guest profiles, with all their information. So Beth Ann, I know she drinks Bodhi's off a beer. I know her dog's named Bunk. I know I've had a couple beers with her too, so I know a lot of information from other stuff. But the bottom line is, if we're not walking the walk and treating our team members the same way we're going to treat our guests, then we're missing something. It just goes into, engage and listen to your team members. At the lunch table, all the execs sit in the corner, and why not go sit with one of the hourly team members? Why not go engage with them? Learn something more about the people we work with every day. And then we have a big focus on authenticity. We say bring your authentic selves every day. We want our team members not to talk from a script. Again, I worked for Marriott for 25 years, so I know all about SOPs. We don't have any, or we have very few, and that is scary to me every day. But it does allow people to be who they are. We went as far as we removed uniforms last year, so you can wear whatever you want to work. Scared me. So little guardrails, but not a whole lot. People come to work and whatever they want to work. We do have them wear my lanyard's off, but we do have them wear a lanyard so you know who's working there. But no uniforms. We want you to bring your authentic self. Here's back to creepy. What we don't want is we don't want the room attendant going through the trash can, seeing a Snickers bar wrapper and assume you like Snickers. We don't want to overhear a conversation with you and one of your coworkers and think it's okay to use that information. And we definitely don't want any Coldplay moments at our hotel. So we need to be very, very careful with how the information's used. We don't want it to turn extra creepy, because it can in this day and age, and it's going to. We know so much about you. We don't want to use information that you don't want us to use, and that can be a very fine line. So what does the pre-arrival email look like? This is what we get on every guest every day. This is a very brief one. It's on 2 pages though, but we know the reservations, we know where you stayed, we know you like concerts across from ClimatePeds. That's extremely actionable. Even though you didn't tell us what concert you went to, we know when you're staying and we know what show is there. We know you like, so there's enough information here. We're certainly not going to say, is this your first time with us? Because we know you've stayed there multiple times. We know you love apple juice. We know what we can and can't change. And then my dream of having the guest satisfaction survey right within the pre-arrival reservation. So we know exactly how you scored us. We didn't blow this one. I didn't set this up. So we didn't blow this one out of the park. 8 out of 10. We did okay, but we know that breakfast, we were 3 out of 5. We certainly didn't meet your expectations there. So why not have the chef come up when breakfast is being served and saying, what can we do better with our breakfast selections, and really try to dig deeper into understanding more about you when we get this information. So this happens again, every guest, every day at the hotel. It's a big report, but if you have it for a week, and different people we've also assigned different interests for different people. So if you're into sports, we'll have the sports person answering all the sports questions, and which gives us time over that week. People have days off, and we're able to do some pretty cool things. Within Muse, this is what the profile actually looks like within Muse. That report scrapes some of this. So Muse has its own little AI summary tool. This is our VP of IT, but we would know, for example, that he has a pet beagle named Coco, and he likes Tanqueray and tonic. These profiles are getting more and more robust as time goes on. We're working with AI how to shrink them sometimes because it gets to be too much. It needs to be digestible as well. Again, back to the one question that we ask, why are you coming to Chicago? There's also we're pet obsessed. So we love dogs, we love cats. You can bring any animal you want to our hotels. We have a little chalkboard. We've had this for years where we welcome all the pets' names and have a welcome pet name. So if we get your name of your pet and its breed, then we become a little more dangerous, because then all your pre-arrival emails will be personalized. Like if you have a Bernese Mountain Dog named Lassie, we'll send the pre-arrival email to Lassie, noting that welcoming Lassie and Lassie's humans along with them. Surfer Cat that I referenced earlier, we'll send a email directly to Surfer Cat. Or if you have a little golden doodle named Milo, then we can send the pre-arrival information to Milo instead of sending it directly to the owner. And those of you who have pets, if you tap into that, then you really get into the emotions of it all. So now it's story time. So how do some of these things really make their way to real life? The picture on the left is a story from all these stories are from the Maxwell Hotel. These stories happen at all our hotels, but I wanted to kind of centralize it into one hotel. And we had some guests who were traveling, single mother, children. Car broke down 45 miles from the hotel. Kids screaming in the back. They're hungry. Mom wants to make sure her room wasn't given away. And so Bonnie at the front desk engages with the guests and puts them at ease and talks about, what we can do to make sure their room is great while they're there. And she helps get the mechanics and AAA. And so through this, she's gathered some information from them, some zero-party data. She knows what make of car they are. She knows where they are. And Bonnie called up the local pizza place, had pizzas delivered to the car. And the mom came in and she was like, what? She was blown away that, her kids who are so upset now all of a sudden are like, who gets pizza delivered to their car in a parking lot where they're broken down in the middle of nowhere? So tell that story. The picture on the right is Sleeping Beauties at the theater right across from the Maxwell Hotel, the ballet last winter. And there was a young ballerina who couldn't wait to go to see Sleeping Beauty, and we knew she was coming in. So the team at the Maxwell went ahead and decorated and made her room the princess room. It was such a hit that we actually sold it thereafter, so it was no longer a surprise and delight, but we spiced it up a little bit more and sold it for another $50 a night. So you can make some revenue off some of these things. Some things that AI does for us real quick is it can create personalized cards. Doing something like this used to take 20 minutes or whatever. We do this, and they sent me files of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of, we know you're going to see the Seattle Storm right across the street. We're going to put your name on your welcome card and make sure that you know that we listened to you on while you're in town. This is our vice president of development. He had a big meeting at the Maxwell Hotel, and so we knew a couple of insights about who he was, and so they scraped his profile off LinkedIn and made it a caricature. And again, what used to take a long time to create things like this, we can also take your favorite song and put your favorite insights in it and play your song and have your song playing on your room with your favorite song all about you. Benson Boone reference earlier, we can make a collage of Benson Boone and like that and have that waiting for you. Three last examples. The picture on the left is, you honestly don't know if it was Valentine's or an anniversary, but it happens in all our brands, but just knowing that information in advance and being able to do that. Cullen had his 16th birthday at Maxwell Hotel. He's a big Washington Nationals fan. So we made some commemorative tickets that he can keep forever with his name on it or whatever. Those things can, again, what used to take a long time can happen really fast. And then Dash is our little mascot. Actually, Dash used to run around the offices. Dash is a huge husky and our owner's dog. And so we have little stuffed Dashes in every room, but someone graduated and they decorated Dash just to make it personal. So with that, we can also, if we know why you're coming to a city, we can include in your bucket list personalized things. So if you've told us, so the bucket list is all the general things in Seattle, but we'll put your specific things in there and switch them out. And again, what used to take a very long time can go awfully quick. So thank you. A little bit about how we're using AI. I'm not the technical guy, so if you want to know how the sausage is made, I'll have to refer you to our tech guys, but I do know that it is making an impact, and I think the team members love it as much as the guests, because a lot of us got into the industry because we wanted to, make that little difference in that day in people's lives and make it fun. So thank you.
Yeah.